the 1v1 of Smash, the controller duelist versus Skittles, the controller support player here, the strategist coming out from ChopperMag. As we get started with our pick and ban phase, we've already said goodbye over to Jeff and Mantis.
Yeah, it looks like Adam is going to be chopped off as well, not allowing them to play into the resurrection there. And Darkzero, at least they're sealing away the Bucky for themselves, can play into that power. But ChopperMag, they got access to Mantis after denying it through.
I mean, nice look here. You're wondering, yeah, you're going to ban the Loki. You don't want to get the team up. We've already saw the importance of that team up actually in our last series at the very end too. Bigger AoE healing here when we get to see what that next ban rollout is going to be. But with the Protect on Bucky pretty early from DZ, that is very interesting here.
Yeah, curious what they're going to be able to chop through in the next portion here. Are they going to focus up on the Vanguards this time? Look to take away. It's double Emma, double trouble. See you later. There is no Psionic Seduction today.
That's smart here too, because if you're ChopperMag right now, you've already taken away the ability to get that Korova, Adam, Warlock online. Wondering if we're going to see that Jeff ban instead, while the Captain America Protect is coming out from ChopperMag.
That's it. You know, they played into a high mobility Vanguard composition earlier in the piece there. Want to enable Duep to do what they do best with that one. And they've been able to just be a menace in the back line. But they are going to be taking away the Venom Darkzero. Do not want to deal with the symbiote.
I like this because now they're going to have their last Protect, so if they don't want to worry about that Venom together with the Mantis team up, we know that Feast of the Abyss on top of the anti-heal could absolutely get that one shot on top of an ulting strategist as they get the Protect over onto the Venom. Was wondering if that's what they wanted to lean into, and now with this final ban, it forces out the Jeff ban perhaps from ChopperMag. Do they take that here, or do they want to aim for something different?
Yeah, curious of their prioritizations there. Going to be Loki taken away, so not going to be seeing Jeff taken out of play there. And now, getting our selections through here, you can see Zenstari looking to play potentially into that Angela. Considering it is a map like Burner T'Challa here, you can definitely see where they want to take this one. They want to go for the high mobility composition here to try and zone out Darkzero and see if they can power ahead.
I like the focus here from ChopperMag. Why don't we handicap the two strategists that really lead the way within Darkzero? Velocity, an insane Loki player, and the Adam Warlock away from Korova. We see that flexibility being very important as we get started with our first game within our last series of the day.
That's it, kicking it off, checking it in to Burning T'Challa. We are going to be on for an absolute brawler. It's not best of 3 anymore, it's best of 5 here, and both teams need to dive in, give it their absolute best, because otherwise one of them will be getting sent home, and it's all or nothing in this one.
Can already see the highlights here as we get the nice flyby of our very first round. Burning T'Challa is where we start off our series. Pethic has already showcased some nice things on the Daredevil here, Massey Bobo, as well with the Psylocke.
Yeah, Pethic always playing into those high mobility duelist picks there. Really strong on the BP back in the day. Iron Fist one and the same, but now they're looking to take aim on the Daredevil there, and definitely eager to see if they can zone one out as Martyra already starts off strong with the opening KO.
That's very big here because then they get to follow up and immediately find Bobo while Pethic is kind of isolated here. Amazing is too busy popping off, making you wonder. Oh, that's why they're going to go for that safety pick to protect the Bucky right off the rip. Madara also being able to get that finishing blow onto Pethic. It's going to be Darkzero having control over the point first.
Yeah, solid isolation picks coming through there from Darkzero there. They're just trying to slowly but carefully now see if they can carve their way away from the mission area and zone out any other potential picks here. But Duep is just being cheeky on the mission area, trying to brawl it out with impunity there. May be able to zone them out, but it is going to be Amazing once again taking aim.
I like this positioning from Darkzero too, because while you have impunity isolated, he knows with the Venom armor, you pop that, you force him to back away, while the rest of Darkzero are terrorizing the backline of ChopperMag, who were separated here. It was 2 members of ChopperMag who wanted to roundabout go in through that middle choke, while now the rest of Darkzero are looking to take the high ground. They have to think about the point after they want to recontest.
We're going to recontest right now. It's time for the dance of the butterfly. Right, Amazing is down, and now they are trying to sound the sirens of recovery here. See if they can zone out some more of the picks into this one. Bobo locked in on velocity there. If they can take them down, they might make them feel mortal, but Zensari has been taken out of the fray. Retreat out onto Impunity. Smash is down. It's all looking good for ChopperMag right now, but the boundary will keep them up a while longer.
And the stall to allow Darkzero to get even more progress on this point, while Skittles has that Sia. Bobo follows up onto velocity. Darkzero, they're down in numbers despite Madara being able to find so many of these picks in a lot of these initial fights. So it's going to be a reset here for Darkzero as ChopperMag finally flipped the point.
Nicely done to get it after Darkzero achieved 65% there. So at least they've got a bit of time, you know, to be a bit flexible here. ChopperMag getting a good amount of ultimates up as well. But I mean, Darkzero wanting the same. They have so many. Speaking of a Galactic Legend online, and no one is in the crosshairs here. Do find a Madara on the tail end of that ultimate, but maybe a little mistiming there, and that could come back to bite them.
I mean, maybe expecting them to get through the choke, but can Darkzero just hold back? They go up from the high ground, drop down below as Velocity. He's got the survivability. Fate of both worlds coming in together to combat that of Fidel, and that Mantis ultimate to move everybody into position as the Heavens Ascent comes in from Zen's. Madara goes all the way up. Meteor M dropping down on top of the noggin of Captain America. You see the Freedom Charge and the It's Jeff from Smash. It's Hasta Visa. Not much you can do there, even when you get taken to sleep by Fidel. But the rest of ChopperMag, they wipe out the rest of Smash Team.
Yeah, great countermeasures coming through there, staggering out the KO onto Impunity as well. So this will further their pursuit onto the mission area here. Solid result coming through from them, but on the other side of it, no ultimates online for ChopperMag right now. They're pretty close to the Galactic Legend, but they're going to have to be careful about Amazing here. They can chain together the Kraken impacts if they start to get rolling, and that could be a very nasty endeavor ahead of them.
ChopperMag, though, after winning those last two fights, already nearing 80%. Got to look at the ult economy, as you already mentioned. Amazing with that Kraken impact. They need the survivability. Kurova wants to build into this invisible boundary. That's going to be important if he stays alive. While we see the Angela, the disruption, the follow-up with Darkzero taking the high ground. Once again, a different roundabout rotation here from Darkzero, but they have to recontest. ChopperMag already nearing 96%.
Getting closer and closer. Darkzero starting to get some percentage back though. It's into the OT timer, and the fight is pushing on here. But here we go, down to the butterfly coming out around the back line. If they can take down Amazing, this could be great fun. They do find Impunity. Immediate trade on Apathic though, and the boundary is going to keep them up a while longer. Sia as well. Skittles putting in the work. Apathic with the Galactic Legend there, trying their best to shut them down. They succeed, speeding past the OT timer, and just like that, that's the first round. The ChopperMag!
ChopperMag! They don't want to waste any time with a beautiful turnaround on that point, but I have to call into question here, Matsy. Kurova with that invisible boundary was made to at least try to save Impunity, but it was too late. Now you've burned up on that strategist ultimate, and you won't have it going into this next round considering we are in domination.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, isn't it? You know, it's like a give and take situation there. They have to consider the impacts of what they've lost with that. And well, as you already see, you know, Darkzero, they've got great tools available to them. Kraken impact online. They can play into the dance of the butterfly there. So they could potentially slice and dice their way through the immediate mission area here. But obviously, ChopperMag are pretty close to a couple of Vanguard ultimates as well.
Look at Bobo right now. He's got the five final hits, but he's 12-1 and 10.8k damage done. He said, better have my money when I come to collect now. Always looking ahead. As I was looking at Impunity, he has not been able to finalize any KOs just yet, as we see the Doctor Strange portal off the gate.
Ooh, looking to see if they can flank through there. Might be able to get Skittles' first casualty. Vidal going to be the first one down there, so nicely done for Darkzero. Skittles bringing them back to the BRB though, and the focus diverts to Duep. So Darkzero trying to see if they can stall out their attention here before the mission area unlocks. They are looking to block them out. No one else going down just yet, but Zensari looking very close to going down. The dance comes through. Soul Resurgence up, but it's immediately punished there. And Darkzero are just clawing at it.
Negating the Soul Resurgence, Fidel has been the target for Darkzero at the start of a lot of these fights. Now Amazing gets the again and again, the Kraken impact reset, but it's just to clean up the rest of this point. At Darkzero, they did have the number advantage for themselves.
Yeah, really impressed with how they've been able to take this early control away from ChopperMag consistently here. They just single out those targets and manage to grow from there, building up that early percentage and building up a wall towards the front of the point here. But Zensari is trying to break their way around the gap already, brings down Heaven's Retribution here. It's time to get into the next fight.
And now Velocity is forced to answer back immediately after looking at Zen's, right? They have the fate of both worlds, and as now Madara tries to send it out up on the high ground there by that choke. He's isolated Fidel, the first to go out in the next fight here, but with some help from Skittles to get the BRB. And Bobo, it's a feast here as he sees everybody grouped up together. Eye of What cannot hear you as ChopperMag, together with Bobo, get to reclaim this point.
Yeah, Eye of None there. They're going to be shut down, not going to open up until the next one. So, nicely done on the conversion there. ChopperMag doing it a little earlier into the piece now. Do have the Galactic Legend online with Sia right around the corner as well. So, they got preparations laid down for the next fight. Kurova luckily does have that boundary almost available too though. So, they've got utility they can rely upon into the next fight here. But if they get zoned out and isolated, this could be quite troublesome. You can see Zensari's already hunted here.
Could be a reflection of what we had seen in that first round, right? Very similar case here, but instead it's ChopperMag having that advantage already. Pathig with a Galactic Legend sees everybody from Darkzero stuck inside, and that is what they wanted. They wanted to get the invisible boundary out because now ChopperMag will get even more progress on this point. Skittles now with the Sia, but it's going to be met by Smash and the dance of the butterflies together with Amazing finding Fidel first. He gets punished for it at the hands of Duep, and now looking at the other side, Smash, they try to find the isolation onto Duep, who manages to get away, by the way, but they're still allowing ChopperMag to get more progress on the point.
Yeah, just taking these single jewels there. Bobo bringing up the dance of the butterfly now. Zensari's gone. They might be able to find one back. They do. Impunity down, so trading out the Vanguards here. Gonna nullify some of the health up front. Soul Resurgence from Fidel as well. Just trying to keep their team online here. See if they can nullify some of the impact. That is gonna be completely nullified. Wiped out there. Good trade from Smash though to keep it up a while longer, but it can only last so long.
Yeah, he was unarmed and safe instead right there. He went up and then he quickly got sent back to that spawn room gate. Now he's forced to make the swap up though if you're looking at Amazing with the Daredevil.
Looking good, looking great. Let's see if they have time to let the Devil out here because the pressure is building up. ChopperMag on the edge of closing the gate on this one. One big fight here could be what Darkzero needs to change it up. Bobo zoned out. This is massive for Amazing. And now they're continuing to train their way through. Fidel could be the next target, but they retreat. They know when to take the next battle.
Gotta look at the point though. They almost try to get the back cap. Overtime forced away thanks to Darkzero recontesting on the point. And the isolated ChopperMag, they find Fidel first again, but they can keep this fight going, Matty. You got that freedom charge from Duep. Zeds is gonna try diving down. Heaven's Descent also looking at Darkzero. Impunity doing the same thing, paving the path, but they've lost out on velocity. No BRB for Darkzero to keep this fight.
Not going to be able to keep it this time around. ChopperMag doing their best to zone them out. Smash in a bit of trouble there. Dance of the Butterfly comes up, but they will find Skittles down. Nicely done by Smash there. Taking them apart one by one. And they've taken the control back in their favor. This is exactly what Darkzero needed.
And a reset now from ChopperMag. They needed a cure at 99% in favor for ChopperMag, but now looking at what they're rolling out with, they have that Galactic Legend. Kurova can make a play with the It's Jeff right off the other side of the map, but it looks like these swap ups with the Daredevil really working out for Darkzero.
Working out a treat here. They're so close to letting the Devil out as well. That could be a super duper troublesome. Zensari already been targeted down. This does cause a bit of concern. ChopperMag, the Legend has been locked back up. Sia coming online from Skittles here. The denial is insane.
The Galactic Legend getting canceled at the hands of Moto right there too. They get the stun, and Zenz is able to get the KO onto Amazing. Another stun onto Smash because Bobo is having his way onto Velocity. The backline in trouble. Smash is the next to go down. Bobo saying, you want to try to match me on this Psylocke? Say no mas, because I will take it any day. Overtime now taking away for ChopperMag to take this map.
Nicely done. Madara is down, and the OT timer over and out. ChopperMag take away map number 1.
Talk about a little bit of revenge here, Matty. You saw what happened before as Bobo with the bracelet showing it off to the crowd, feeling happy about that one.
Love to see that. Big love for Bobo and a big love to everybody tuning in, whether you're here at DreamHack or at home. We appreciate each and every single one of you for coming to support your favorite players, your favorite teams here today. They appreciate it as well. You can see Darkzero are locked in after that one. They have to make big reflections heading into the next.
Need your energy, everybody watching here, live in the arena and at home. Because it's getting a little bit of deja vu, right, Mancy? Because the last time both of these teams faced off against each other in the group stage, I believe it was ChopperMag that was able to take that Dom match as well, kind of further highlighting the issues that DZ may face whenever it comes to these Game 1 situations.
That's it. You know, last time I was on Hell's Heaven, and now we've seen it all go down in T'Challa. So great to see how ChopperMag have been able to find their confidence on a domination, playing into their strengths there. But the next map is going to be where they're truly tested. You know, will they be able to break this 1-2 curse? Will they be able to push on ahead?
Have to find out here. We get to take a look at some of the highlights as well. Fidel getting called out first so many times by Darkzero, and it didn't matter at the very end because the way that Bobo was able to find these isolation picks onto Darkzero is what mattered in being able to control the majority of these fights. He looked so unfazed, by the way, even with the dance of the butterflies. You find these picks onto Amazing, and you also get to see the staggers on the ultimates that DZ were forced to work with.
Yeah, I was so impressed at how they were able to manage that ult economy there. And, you know, it goes to the communication between the team and tracking down those ultimates, making sure you don't commit too many of your own in order to zone it out when it mattered. And time again, ChopperMag managed to bring themselves back. You know, obviously losing the first mission area contest both times consistently, but still managing to bring it back when it counted.
Unity had a pretty rough game there too, honestly. So a few times we had a lot of interruptions with some of these ultimates, whether it be, you know, what you saw with the Kraken Impact at that time, the Eye of Agamotto not working out. Sure, they came alive in certain flips, but with the way that ChopperMag had just been ahead in terms of their ult economy and the ability to convert that into winning the points, we take a look at the map 1 results.
Yeah, taking a look and seeing some of the power coming through there. Obviously, a big impact coming through from a Dueb on that cap. Really able to elevate and keep their team online when it counted. But I mean, looking over the other side of things, Amazing was a huge problem for ChopperMag, and they just managed to go leaps and bounds with that Bucky.
Yeah, you look at the damage output too, right? You look at Impunity and we're talking about he has 0 final hits. Then you look at Duep and you were talking about already in the pick and ban phase, getting enabled with that Captain America. Look at that, 10.9k on the board. And he took a lot of damage, right? But Skittles with that BRB was always there to help out, whether it be himself, Fidel too. Of course, whenever Fidel was helped out by Bobo or Zen's trying to disrupt the piece, it really did allow that damage output with the damage boost to come through.
Yeah, and it really goes to show, right, how much survivability Skittles enabled through that map. Because, I mean, all the way through that first round, they didn't have a single casualty. They were just so sneaky, so tenacious there. But they only managed to find their first section of mortality into the second round there. So really impressed at how they managed to keep themselves up so they could keep their team up as best as they possibly could.
Getting ready here and looking at our second map now. We are going on to Central Park. And if you guys could all recall what the Des was talking about earlier, Central Park is one of the favorites for Darkzero. They feel pretty at home here, and they have a great record too on this. And you know, Convergence in general is their best game mode. Currently 6-3 on Convergence, but specifically on Central Park, they are 4-2 thus far in stage 2.
So far, so good, but we are jumping into the draft right now, and we are saying goodbye to Mantis and Jeff. So, Jeff's going to be denied entirely by Darkzero there. Definitely can understand it, taking it for themselves. They don't want Skittles to be enabled onto this map. They've seen that strength that can come out of Skittles playing Jeff onto Central Park here, but now Adam's been taken away, so the resurrection will be no more.
Gotta think too, if you get the Protect onto the Jeff, could try to proc out a Venom ban inevitably, while we get to see the Psylocke ban next. The Mantis Protect though allowing ChopperMag to even have more of that damage output.
Yeah, and that's going to be targeting around Bobo there. Do not want to enable Bobo to do whatever they can. And look at that. They are just full focus on trying to chop down Bobo's hero pool there. Psylocke banned out, Star-Lord banned out. What could be next? It could be Punisher. It could be anything at this point. But obviously they might want to prioritize around one of those strategists there or the Vanguard.
It'd be crazy if they see maybe a mag. I don't expect it here, but with the fact that you have the Emma Frost Protect onto ChopperMag, you could expect that team up, although they won't have it with the Psylocke thanks to Darkzero banning that out earlier. No Star-Lord, and this is good awareness too from Darkzero because you have a lot of that verticality. They ban the Loki next because you do not want to deal with the double res composition.
Absolutely not. Do not want to deal with that any day of the week there. So, Protect going to be online now from Darkzero. One more to make it count here, and it's going to be the Venom.
And not even just the double res too, right? When you take out the Loki, you also get that team up away from the Mantis. So you take that big AoE healing away, and like you said, so you can see right here, the Venom Protect coming forward. So you get the symbiotic shenanigans together with the Jeffy and the Venom.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed, of course, you aren't going to be seeing the Venom banned out from Darkzero here, so that does enable the Zenom to come out for ChopperMag into this one, and eager to see if that's going to be a thing. But Darkzero, they've opted to get taken out of the Bucky this time, so not going to see a Amazing opt into that one here and now. But what we are seeing is ChopperMag playing into their strengths potentially. I reckon they opt in for the triple here on the defense.
Oh, this is going to be so scary, too. Remember, we were talking about the Magneto, right? Yep, with the triple. Now you allow the Emma Frost team up together with the Magneto, and you know what works great? It's the Emma Frost and the Groot. You have those Groot walls. It prepares you to get a choke slam down, and then you get to get the roundhouse kick right against not only just the walls of the map, but against your own friendly Groot walls. We get set up here. ChopperMag, they start off on the defense. They're rolling out with the Adam Warlock, while DZ are going to be rolling out on the attack.
Yeah, they did opt to try and chop down some of Bobo's hero pool here, but I mean, they have a lot of strength at playing into the Atom as well, especially in the initial phases into the triple on this one. So, keen to see some of those strengths come into play here, but obviously it's not a one-man show, it's a team game here. And what I'm seeing on the Darkzero side, they've got the melee duelists coming at ya, Iron Fist and the Daredevil.
Can we talk about how we're seeing more and more resurgence of the Iron Fist? I mean, he did get that slight buff too, right, at the Season 4.5 patch notes, and I like to see how a lot more of these teams are getting creative with the way that they want to break through this chokehold of what they expect to be the 3-3, as ChopperMag are rocking it. Smash already trying to get into position, getting ahead of just trying to get the read 2 on the composition that they're met with.
Yeah, trying to analyze their way forward here. Smash trying to see if there's a way to smash past them into this one. Locked down on one of the strategists here, but it is going to be Pathic taking point already. 3 down, and looking to see if they can zone out more. They will annihilate the frontline offense here, sent straight back to the gates before it even began.
Pathic having a little bit of fun, literally annihilating Darkzero right after they attempted to get through that choke. Back to the drawing board and maybe a different rotation, as you have to imagine how difficult it is to chop through those Groot walls, the isolation too, and pull-ins from Skittles being on the Invisible Woman.
Yeah, looking to see if there is going to be a way to break the walls down there. Zensari getting closer and closer to the Strangling Prison as well. Could be a big problem for Darkzero here. All they need to do, single out somebody, try and see if they can catch something here. I think Jeff Nader is going to be a big problem later as well. But now, Jared is Strangling Prison, jumping down. The heal's good though. It's Jeff coming out from Kurova at the right time here. Are they going to be able to catch anyone though? They do find Zensari. This is big. They can drop him off. Oh, are they going to make it? Yes, they will.
And there was a pull-in too, but it was a nice backup from Skittles to get the revenge onto Kurova. Meteor M looking right dead at the side of Seduction, but Invisible Boundary for Invisible Boundary. You have the protection of the pillar. If you are Madara on that Angela, nice follow-up to get this here as Velocity. The Invisible Boundary goes down, but you have the passive from Bobo to come back, and guess what? He's got the Born again in case they need it here, and with the Omega Hurricane, all Bobo needs to do is hide in the wings of the shadows of here, and now behind the wall, he gets it. Born again, the Karmic Revival to bring them back.
Bringing them back. Duep are not going to be receiving that revival. Too little, too late. But their team is still online here for the moment. Oh, Living Chi coming online from Smash now, trying to see if they can push their way in. Pathic does have the Meteor up. I might be able to pop something down. Velocity goes down. Nicely done. Focused up on the strategist. Going to be traded out by Smash though. And we're going to see if they can clash their way in. Duep on the portal. Luckily, they're there in time.
Huge here, too, for Duep to get this reset with the portal because they already had used that Karmic Revival, right? So now they need to make sure that they can stall for as long as possible. Darkzero haven't gotten to that second checkpoint just yet, but Kurova's got the It's Jeff. He initiates it right off the rip here, and Zenz does have the piece of the Abyss. Have to look for that anti-heal as Kurova needs some help. He tries to get enabled. He sends out one. It's going to be Pathic, the victim, and the number advantage first now goes to Darkzero.
Nicely done by Darkzero there, pushing ahead, 2 ticks on the mission area and looking to see if they can zone out more. ChopperMag facing elimination onto this first mission area here, and the conversion will come through. So Ravatuska is online. Darkzero prevail.
Getting ready to hail forward too. Darkzero looking ahead while ChopperMag, at least they have enough time to get set up here on the high ground. This is where it could get a little tricky here, right, Matty? Because when you get forced into your spawn, there's a lot of open sight lines up on the high ground looking directly at that spawn where you can feel a lot of pressure. Ready, Impunity moving up to get that space.
Yeah, moving up to clear the path here, make sure they don't get caught out of this one. Smash, doing a good job just to pump up the damage from afar as well, maintaining those tight lines of sight. No one looking to go down just yet. Skittle's prepared with a boundary as well. That could get traded if it does get popped, and there's Heaven's Retribution coming out. Madara looking to see if they can get more. Soul Resurgence jumping out as well. Bobo does find them though.
Heaven's Retribution, no more in that side room, and that was all thanks to Fidel keeping them alive with that Soul Resurgence. It was able to move everybody into position. They hold forward, and now with 2 members out from Darkzero, ChopperMag, they're able to hold this defense, and this is the position of the payload that I'm always the most worried about, because now Darkzero are gonna have to look straight up at ChopperMag, hold on to that high ground, splitting their attention.
And now Bobo has the Karmic Revival online as well, so if things get a bit scary here, they can always bring their team back. Galactic Legend, we're going to bring up a bunch of damage. Boundary, going to at least nullify that impact there, and they found Impunity in the meanwhile. Jeff coming up as well. It's time for the Kraken impact here, and they catch Koroba. That is huge for Pethig. Jumping onto 2, looking to send them back in all the way to spawn. Pethig is him.
Get over here, he says, and with the reset, he gets to go right back to the rest of his team. And I was looking at Velocity, who honestly had that invisible boundary for quite some time, but probably holding on to it to enable Smash with the Dance of Butterflies. You want to get that very impactful, but you could also wombo combo it without your ultimates getting staggered with Impunity and that Groot hug.
Yeah, looking to come in for a big hug here. Let's see if they are going to be able to find it. And sorry, we're going to put them in a state of sedation. They do have Agamotto available. Here we go. Pop it up. Oh, they're pushed away. That was big. Coming through from Darkzero. Dance of the Butterfly, isolating them as well. What a response there. They're going to be born again, though, thanks to Bobo.
They didn't call out where Bobo is. Look where he is. Right up on the high ground behind another castle wall. And he brings back the rest of ChopperMag as the MVP. Would be ashamed if that Dance of the Butterflies was all for good and not for anything, as Impunity gets taken down next. And ChopperMag, they're holding on to this defense.
Just under a minute to go here. Pressure is building up. Darkzero need to find a way to take control into this one, but ChopperMag have all the tools left available to have taken a bit of damage, but they're still standing strong. Soul Resurgence traded out with the Strangling Prison there, so everybody's still getting a slice of the pie here. Madara pulls back, they go down. Bobo, nice impact out of that one, but they're still standing tall.
Man, if it isn't with the passive, it's being able to find these crucial shots. If you are on that Adam Warlock, Bobo once again helping out the rest of ChopperMag, and look at this ult economy that we're working with. We have the survivability, and you're wondering here, with the way that Pethig is playing on this Bucky, I'd be terrified to be flying around him as Smash and Amazing will be taken to the skies.
Taking to the skies, rise up, command attention is what they need, but are they going to be able to take it, or will they concede as Pethig focused up into the back line there? Smash are looking to see if they can rope their way around, but no one hits the ground yet. It all stands still into the OT timer.
Desperate times call for desperate measures when you have Impunity rolling out here on that Venom symbiotic shenanigans as the Silent Seduction comes out with overtime ticking away. Darkzero cannot give up this space. Eye of Agamotto though coming in, it only finds Madara and allows Velocity to help them out. But that's all 3 strategist ultimates used at the same time, but it's worth it when Koroba finds 2 of your strategists. Darkzero, they have the number advantage, and you can see Madara trying to block out the doors with the portal.
Oh, stall out time as much as they possibly can here. Look at that. And they've got the tech. They are looking to take them out here, and it's going to buy so much time for them, but they bypass it. They're broken out. They're looking to do this and see if they can take it to them.
It doesn't just happen in your own respective games at home, everybody. It happens here in pro play all the time to force out this stall. Overtime, Smash, Galactic Legend looks at Bobo, who's still alive here safely at the hands of Skittles in that invisible boundary, but it is Pethic who finds a first pick onto Impunity, who can't use a piece of the Abyss, has a huge push away from the Eye of Agamotto, helps out the backline of ChopperMag.
Nicely done there. Velocity going to be able to find Duep, and a Karmic Revival comes online. Duep is back into the fray here. They're trying to focus up, focus them down. Soul Resurgence runs its course. Impunity still has the piece to the Abyss here, though, waiting patiently for that timer there. And there it is, straight into the back line. Fidel goes down. Skittles in a bit of trouble as well. They are trying to punish the back line onto this one. Darkzero still empowered, still holding on here. And ChopperMag need to do it all.
And with Velocity making that swap over and looking at Pethic, they could actually try to isolate him, but they cannot get off the point. As Madara, Korova, he helps out Velocity in the process, and you're trying to block them out in their own choke points. It is only up to Duep, but the invisible boundary saves the day for ChopperMag, keeping his overtime fight going.
It goes on and on into this one. Velocity ready with the God of Mischief has gone down. This is big for ChopperMag. They may just be able to do something with this one. Cracking impact into the Agamotto. The Agamotto finds no impact, but they're still fighting, still shooting their way through. Amazing, in deep trouble there, but there you go. ChopperMag, hold it down.
The biggest checkmate was finding Velocity before the God of Mischief was able to be used. That was the only saving grace for them, and even if that fight was going on any longer, they were slowly building up into another Karmic Revival for that very last fight.
Just incredible how they're able to string those ults together there and really hold a strong Darkzero. Losing members at the worst possible time there. The pick on isolation really set the domino effect into motion.
I mean, the fact that that overtime fight was 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Literally 2 to 3 rounds of ultimate rotations that we witnessed within that fight, and they couldn't get it to that checkpoint.
Just insane how they're able to win out that battle of endurance there. But there's another battle that's about to begin here, and I'm seeing Bobo bringing out the Phoenix this time around. Both teams, as a matter of fact, are on the Phoenix here. They're changing it up.
Dude, look at this Pethic, 10 final hits, 14.2k. All right, amazing. He's been able to get the damage done. He's gone down only once. The survivability is fantastic that we're seeing from the backline here. I mean, you have that triple strategist really helping you out, but then you have to take a look at the Vanguards and the damage of what we're seeing from ChopperMag.
Yeah, really able to pump up the numbers when it matters here. And now they're jumping out of the gates already to step it to the front away towards the mission area here. Zinstari and Duep leading the charge for their team, and they got their teammates up the back as well. Just trying to make sure everybody stays focused up, stays healed here. Madara taking a bit of damage, but already the walls on both sides are causing so much isolation.
Even works out better though for ChopperMag, because guess what? You're just farming the Emma Frost damage for free. You're already at that 100 mark, and you're able to put in a good amount of that pressure, but Bobo falling low himself, backing away and has some safety, at least even by the enemy's brute walls. Impunity already trying to get set up, but it's forcing Darkzero to play in this corner, and looking at ChopperMag, they have a lot of space to work with as Impunity. He brings them together, but Skittles saves ChopperMag and the Sia.
Oh no! Inferno coming out as well. They will be able to stay strong into this fight, managing to find some key targets on the Darkzero there and forcing them further and further away from the mission area. They have flipped the mission area on its head. The portal could come in at the right moment though, and they will stall it out.
Oh, the stop with the Eye of Agamotto. He doesn't come out the way that they needed. The follow-up and the invisible boundary to at least keep this fight going, but this was a mess. Spaghetti all over the floor for Darkzero, not working out the way that they needed, but at least with the It's Jeff, Smash is able to find Zez. He gets put to sleep though with a nice sedation as Pethic puts that down, and now Darkzero are forcing back ChopperMag. Well, ChopperMag, they thought they had the point. Darkzero, they replant their feet on the defense.
Yeah, great timing on the strange portal there. Keeps them online when it really counts. You cannot allow ChopperMag to push on for free. Otherwise, they will fly high like a bird. And now, looking to see if they can fight on again. It's the boundary coming up. The picks coming through. They've doubled down, looking for more around the corner as well. Darkzero, the pressure is on. Amazing. Not able to get the Ensong Inferno off. Everybody will go down. And the fight rages on. Ratatoska takes the stage.
And look at the time back that they have to work with. And they don't even need to get to that next checkpoint. They just have to go up that hill here. And ChopperMag have 4 minutes on the clock. Looking at Darkzero, though, they need to hold forward. And look at Zed's positioning already, too, wasting even more time.
Just trying to stagger him out, stall as long as possible. Ensong Inferno coming out from Bobo. Lots of damage around the back there. That's going to cause a bit of an issue, but it's all healed up within a moment. Got a Mischief coming online as well. Ooh, looking to play around. Let's see if the Eternal Bond will keep him in it. Zia coming online as well. Bobo goes down. Amazing responding with the Ensong Inferno, but they've still got those Vanguard ultimates for ChopperMag.
Huge stun coming out here, too, thanks to Bobo coming crashing down. Zen does have that Groot hug, and he's up on the high ground. He's fishing for it, and Dewup is going to be able to get the sign of seduction, but they lost out on Fidel in the process, and they really wanted to build into that invisible boundary. At least Pethig could bring them in together as Impunity lets it reverse at the same time as Zen's, but it's Jeff together. He's got them all, and it is Smash with the MVP. Goodbye, ChopperMag. It is way worth it, as now Darkzero get even more room to breathe. They send back ChopperMag to the spawn room gates.
Huge stuff coming out from Smash like a tsunami. They come crashing in and will reset ChopperMag back to square one. Now, we'll see if they are going to be able to bring themselves back to fruition here, because Pethig does have Soul Resurgence. Bobo pretty close to their ult as well. Darkzero not as so close. They don't have much utility at all to deal with here, and already the Soul Resurgence coming up for Amazing, getting closer and closer. The Ensong Inferno could be at the right time, but maybe not. Smash in a bit of trouble. They do reset the Ensong Inferno though, so it's not all over till it's over.
And Fidel too with that invisible rounder. You got to look up at Amazing, who's trying to bait it out, looking at the backline. Where is everybody after trying to get the reset? Sends him down here on top of that bridge while Smash finds Dewup. Darkzero have velocity with another God of Mischief, but they're looking at the Sia from Skittles first. Impunity moving forward, close to another Groot hug here with velocity getting that copy in the form of the Eternal Bond. He sets them up for success, dealing more of that tick damage and bringing them together, sets up the walls right behind them, and Darkzero, they know the assignment, they hold it down again, and ChopperMag, they keep getting taken out in a lot of these team fights, but they have 2 ultimates for this next one.
4 marks into that one, A+, and they're looking to solve the next equation as well. More fights will be online here. Are they going to be able to draw the line? Are they going to be able to hold them off? It's all going to be tested into this one, because Darkzero, all they have is a Meteor. Pretty close to those Strategist ultimates though. They're going to come in clutch into this one, and it's who will activate first, who will press the big red button.
Well, we see the iframes come out from Smash again from the Jeff to combat that of Zen Starry and that Groot hug. We're gonna have to see with Zen's without any ult necessary finds Impunity. Korova with the survivability, he goes forward with the Eternal Bomb, but Modro misses out on the Meteor M right there, hitting the noggin of that top of that wall. Invisible boundary, it's Jeff. He tries to block him out, but too little, too late. He finds them here together, and with 2 members out, it's back to the fighting grounds, and now sending down Fidel and Zen's. Darkzero once again come out on top of another team fight.
Time and time again, the Shark Attack coming in clutch there for Smash, making an impact when it matters. And now we are just under the minute mark here. The pressure continues to build for ChopperMag, but they have 4 ults here. Darkzero just starting to build up to a couple into this one. If they can't time the right, it could be all over. They do deny the hug there, and now look to give a hug of their own.
Gotta hold it here with the Sia being right on top of him, and Korova being the first one taken out, not saved by the Eternal Bond in the form of the God Mischief here from Velocity. He gets done next, and ChopperMag have 3 of these ultimates. They have the speed boost on top of it with that Soul Resurgence and the damage output necessary thanks to that Mantis. Less than 15 seconds on the clock, and they found Impunity. They found Madara. Darkzero, they stand no longer, stopping ChopperMag.
It's time for a portal. Impunity's already changed here, ready to try and stall them out, stop them in their tracks. Are they going to be able to manage it here and now? These last key moments are everything for Darkzero. And now they're back on the mission area, trying to stall them out. The fight is on.
I love the positioning of this Doctor Strange portal, giving them some cover, but it's a silent seduction, lifting them up together with Zenz and the group wall. Mora cannot be saved, and the Meteor M will not be on board. It's another overtime fight. Invisible boundary from Fidel as Bobo comes crashing down to save them from the Itch Jeff, but he's protected for now. Smash, he can't survive, but it's fine. He does the job. He still fights you up. He finds Pethig, but Darkzero, they're struggling to hold on.
Struggling to hold on, struggling to lock it in there. Madara, the last hope with the Meteor, trying to boot Fidel down the back. They get them. The fight is on the mission area right now. Everybody's holding on. The Seers online. Zendari, Skittles doing whatever they can with the walls here. But the Eternal Bond will keep Darkzero in the driving seat.
Madara with the infinite Tsukiyomi. He can't even hold it for any longer. He brings him up. It's a stall off the Meteor M, off the Protect. Together with Velocity, they can come out, but ChopperMag, they come back in numbers. Velocity forced to use the lamp, and now we are going through another rotate. All these strategists ults, but Bobo and Fidel, they've taken out the vanguards of Darkzero.
Here it is, big hug, it's all Resurgence, good loot spiders coming at you with the Eye of Agamotto. It's the KO show for ChopperMag right now, and they push it over the line and take map number 2.
Look at them, just another day at work. They're looking unfazed. Bobo says pay up, because now they are a match point in our best of 5, taking it 2-0 thus far. And a crazy another overtime last second fight.
Can you believe it? Going down to the wire in every sense of the word there. And this is a fight for the ages for both teams. They are fighting so hard because they know what awaits for them. No loss is to be achieved here. No loss is to be expected, because if they lose it out, they face a straight elimination.
Dude, this stat line is crazy, by the way. Smash is 30-7 with 15,000 healing, 27,000 damage. Meanwhile, 32,000 damage shared right next to Zen and Bobo. I mean, the follow-up, the reset here. Despite Darkzero really taking control over a lot of those fights around that corner before the hilltop, before that next checkpoint, the way that ChopperMag still had the time bank appreciation, the time bank advantage once they got that payload moving was crazy, Matty.
Just absolutely insane work coming through from them on the second one, but we're going to break it all down right now. Over to the desk.
It's time for a little bit of a break, but we've got a little present for you so that you can be held over until our next map. We brought in Legit, the coach for FlyQuest. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So you joined us for the last part of that map, and you actually were talking to us about quite a few things. Let's just open it up completely to you.
Okay.
What really stood out to you in that last map?
Honestly, I thought Smash played phenomenal that game. His Jeff, he was doing everything he needed to. I would like to see more focus on the payload, the objective from Darkzero there, but overall, this ChopperMag team, they came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting this.
Did you because they were obviously in a different group, because you were in Group B, ChopperMag were in Group A. Did you scrim them at all? Did you do any prep whilst you were here? Because obviously they're miles away, so actually scrimming them off LAN seems pretty difficult.
No, actually, our first scrim ever against ChopperMag was today as our warm-up. So I completely, first time seeing them, really.
Well, you're going to have a bit more, a chance to see him here as we're going to jump into the highlights of the series so far. ChopperMag currently sitting at 2-0. And you two, just talk me through this series, especially on this map, where it really came down to the wire.
So, as far as I understand it, so Darkzero 2-0 ChopperMag in the group stages. 2-1, sorry. But one of the maps that Darkzero did pick up was Central Park, because I remember seeing the choice of Darkzero choosing Central Park, thinking, you're going to take ChopperMag to the map where they beat Virtus Pro? And a map that has gone sort of decently for ChopperMag with like the win over Envy to actually qualify here. This seemed to be one of the high-octane cinema maps for them, right? And it sort of added to that tally. ChopperMag able to get a little bit more revenge, I suppose, to actually get the win back into their favor. But there were so many fights that felt like they went on too long, could have gone either way, certainly towards the end there.
Legit, you mentioned the Jeff earlier. What else is jumping out to you in this matchup, including that Jeff right there?
I mean, the Adam gameplay I thought was great. Again, that overtime fight, I really wish they put more focus on that objective in those situations. I was seeing them going for the back line. You know, I think they could have cleaned that up. If they clean that up, though, I think it'll be better.
Why do you prio front to back in that situation?
I mean, it's objective game mode again, especially in these overtime scenarios. But the Jeff gameplay was good.
Scary.
Yeah.
I did have the question as well, because one of the reasons why Darkzero is in this situation is because you beat them earlier. Not to reveal too much about like how you prepped for that game, but like what kind of like players, characters were you concerned about playing up against Darkzero? Like, who are the win conditions for them? Who are the characters and the players that you're like, we need to make sure that they have a quiet game, otherwise it's going to be a little bit harder for us?
Smash.
Sure?
Yeah, Smash has his days where he'll just carry. So you got to keep an eye out for that guy. Very impressive.
The next map we're going to be moving over to is Midtown, sticking with the New York maps, heading into the Empire of Eternal Night. Now, that means we're heading over to a convoy map. Obviously, you have played them quite a lot. They were, Darkzero in particular, were in your region. What is there to look out for here?
I think that's Darkzero's weakest, honestly. So, and ChopperMag, I think they might have something up their sleeve.
So I also want to ask you about one player in particular. They played quite a bit earlier, and you saw them just in that last one. Duep, the tank player for ChopperMag. We saw them actually match Polly in their match versus Citadel earlier. Have you had a chance to have a look at him?
I haven't. Has he been sending out?
Has he been sending? Has been.
Really? I need to watch that back.
He's been played a bit of Cap. He played a good amount of Emma just then as well on Central Park. And I guess there's always that sort of focus on the draft. Like that last game, a lot of getting Emma out first instead of a Mantis, instead of a Jeff. It seemed that we had like, it's a rock, paper, scissors on those three particular characters on which you want to get out first. So
from the little I have seen of ChopperMag, they do seem to be not a team that will play the dive, and they'll play the front to back, which is like what you need in a tournament like this, right? So I think that's might be part of their success.
Yeah, because that's a big question, I think, is just like, ChopperMag want to play fast, Darkzero want to try and slow the pace. One thing that you at FlyQuest are really good at is if you see Na'Vi or 100 Thieves or Citadel try and play faster to you guys, you were like, no. It's just like the big bully, like holding him by the top of the head. Like, you dictate the pace. Like, how hard is that to do? Especially in games like this where you're playing for your life. I imagine that if ChopperMag want to up the ante, Darkzero are just going to start to fall apart a little bit, right?
Listen, when you're on stage, everything changes, right? I think it really comes down to how teams go about utilizing their cooldowns and their ults, right? And you know, there's when nerves are on the line, those things get missed. So I hopefully we keep that up.
So I want both of your final thoughts for that last series before we start heading into the others. The draft is coming up in a bit, so we'll start with Ryan. Final thoughts for that last match.
This is a gamble, isn't it, really, I think, for Darkzero. There must be a reason, whether it's something that they've seen a lot of what ChopperMag have done on this map in particular. We saw it go pretty much all of the distance a little bit earlier on, right, with ChopperMag and Citadel. Maybe that's the reason, I'd imagine. And
any final thoughts for that last map?
Nothing for that map, but this upcoming one, I know it's Darkzero's weaker map, but I'm rooting for him. I want NA to go ahead.
So here's the question. They lost that last map. Why do you think they're picking it?
Honestly, they have to pick a convoy, and it's Midtown, it looks like.
It is.
Yeah, that's one of their favorite maps, so hopefully they can get this done.
All right, well, jump on in here with us legit as we're going to be heading into the draft for our next map here. And it is already getting underway, and we're starting to see, you were talking to us earlier when you joined us up here before we jumped on stage, one-sided Mantis already being given over to ChopperMag.
Yeah. Was that Emma first?
Yeah.
So the Emma first on these convoys are very common because it does, you know, it puts you head in that front to back. So it's not that bad. I think honestly what Darkzero here is pretty good so far. They're trying to get that front to back advantage.
Do you think it's worth it over the Mantis priority bans that we've been seeing pretty often?
It's always team dependent. I think this team is going to try to get that Emma advantage in, and it's good. It's not bad.
I feel like the main thing for Mantis, Emma, and Jeff is it used to be, you know, Emma, like free Vanguards, free strategist, stall for as long as possible was a strategy. But for Mantis, triple strategist, Jeff, triple strategist. Now we are seeing a little bit more like 2-2-2 setups, like a little bit more like balanced out in the books, and it lets the duelist shine a bit more.
So ChopperMag have been banning out the Winter Soldier here. We've already seen that ChopperMag do like to play quite a bit of dive. Darkzero already having the Emma. What other options are available to Darkzero if ChopperMag decide to go a bit more aggro here?
I think Darkzero bans are fine right now. Like again, they're banning that front to back, so it's like a group ban there. Then banning a little bit of dive. They're just trying to force them. I think ChopperMag is going to be forced to not play the 3-3.
To keep them out of the triple Vanguard, triple strategist.
Right. I think that's Darkzero's plan going into this.
I wonder if they're just going to hit and take that final Vanguard, which is something that teams did, like, you know, just gunning for strategists, just take as many out as possible, right? So I feel like the protects from the cap is probably a smart one for ChopperMag because it leans that Darkzero is going to get rid of another Vanguard at this rate. In fact, they actually go for the one-sided rocket, which makes sense because you have got a one-sided Jeff actually in favor of ChopperMag for this one.
They're trying to nerf the dive a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to put you on the podium for a little bit here and on the spot. Looking at these two drafts, which one do you prefer?
I like Darkzero, actually. I think their draft was good.
Would you like to elaborate?
Again, they're forcing them to get off that 3-3 on their defense and go for more front to back favor.
And Ryan, what are you thinking?
Well, you have Bira back on the defense as well for Rocket. You have the Jeff on your side, I think, so you're able to make sure that, like you said, you're making sure that everything stock-wise is knocked down a little bit, because if you go too far into getting rid of dive, you could just go triple strategist. It feels like Darkzero have a read here, otherwise why on earth would they pick this map?
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Legit.
Thank you, guys.
We are going to head back over to our casters, Vicky and Matzi, for this game number 3 in our final series of the day.
Thank you so much, Tetcher. Let's get started. Let's not waste any time because at the moment, ChopperMag are looking to take us home here, Matzi, and they just need one more game win to go. I really like the breakdown talking about what bans you could expect here from Darkzero, and this also allows Kurova to have the Adam Warlock.
Yeah, great to see that they can play into the Resurrection composition, and Kurova already taking damage out the Jet here. Looking to take a tight line assignment. Velocity's gone down. Dueb on the Thor, bringing out that God of Thunder, and looking to see if they can cause Darkzero to blunder here. But they are going to be taking it nice and slow. Good trade coming out from Madara to get things started.
Because you also let the Emma Frost come by as well, with Pepe trying to build up into that Omega Hurricane just as quickly as well as the Moon Knight. You want the Hand of Khonshu to build up that space, force back Darkzero, who still don't have that Sia just yet, but it's all eyes on Ryan to keep them alive with that just temporarily.
Yeah, keep him online. Sia gonna come up right now. Khonshu, immediate activation there. Not getting much from it. Bobo taking a lot of punishment around the back here. Zensari falls back as well, but they do find impunity. They can take down Madara as well. Great to see the front line comes crashing down there. So we will not see the impact of the triple, but we do have a strange portal potentially in the works here. They might just be able to stall them out and make sure they can't push this mission vehicle any further.
Timon with the shield just in case before diving right back around here to try to take control over that payload. See, having to be careful too. The Relic right behind them, having to destroy that with Velocity, having the invisible boundary. Look at Pethic though. Omega Hurricane, Sharknado, waiting in the wings. But I love this delay together as Skittles is going to combine that with the team of ChopperMag, Nom Nom away as they find Velocity. They find Amazing. Good luck surviving through that at the end of the invisible boundary. But that's why Kurova has the Born again. The Karmic Revival. He brings back the entirety of Darkzero. As you can see, the Sonic Seduction at the hands of Madara, and a nice repositioning from Zens to then just put himself behind them and the Eye of Agamotto, but it gets blocked out. Beautiful retaliation from Darkzero. Look behind them.
The God of Thunder comes online as well, but Amazing keeping them up with the Sia here, pumping up the damage numbers, trying to see if they can pummel them down. Khonshu coming online from Bobo. Kurova does manage to catch Skittles into the fray there, so nicely done to shut down some of the impact, but impunity down one in the same. Good trades coming coming out up front here. The pressure is on right now. Darkzero need to stall them out as long as possible with the boundary. They can succeed in that endeavor. Take them down to at least the minute mark, perhaps. But Madara does catch Zenstari. Now whittling down the opposing forces bit by bit here. Darkzero are powering up.
He's got that soul bouncer too, right? He is doing a lot of that damage, and he's got that karmic revival for this next fight. Very scrappy before these two teams here together in this side building, and now with Bobo having another hand of Khonshu. It's back to the drawing board for ChopperMag as they try to approach here from the high ground once again.
Try and take it to him, try and see if they can break through him. Impunity playing a game of peekaboo with him right now. Just tag you're it, and they find a Bethig in this bit. So nicely done to see if they can capture some more. Fidel, ooh, good on the sedation there, but they won't be able to survive through that one.
And a nice little wake up there too. Impunity is able to get the follow-up right afterwards, and ChopperMag, after being down Fidel, they won't have that soul resurgence as well, so they're just gonna have to back away and now go through the high ground. They want to split the attention of Darkzero, and they have the ultimates to do it, Matty.
Absolutely, Jeff Nader could come online here. Khonshu, one and the same. They got a lot of tools at their disposal. Piece of the Abyss into the Soul Resurgence there. Fidel in a lot of trouble, goes down. Good trade coming out on the right, amazing. Everybody falling down, but they're born again. Garova coming in clutch over and over.
And from the back end here too, but while he brings them up, it could be above Faye as Pethic is forced to back away with the Sharknado in hand. He finds Velocity, at least takes one with him, and he's also trying to get Darkzero to look at them while ChopperMag just walks the dog with the payload.
Yeah, just backlining the mission area there, looking good for them, and getting a ton of KOs while they do it, stalling their way through into the OT timer there, and they will get an impressive KO around the back, but now Darkzero, they're right back up front, and they will not allow them freedom to pass. But alas, the portal comes through, portal combat, and it's all on once again.
But it didn't take so long to allow Velocity and Kurova to come right back around too. They're trying to get the body block through the portal, while Zenz, he's got that Eye of Agamotto, but with the Sonic Seduction coming out online, you have the Eye of Agamotto trying to go right through the other side of the portal. He gets pushed back, Velocity close to an invisible boundary. Look at Pethic though, and that Omega Hurricane. They may have to desync if he doesn't get it on time, depending on how Darkzero try to take these fights. He activates it first. Skittles doesn't have it here with the It's Jeff, and he's trying to rotate around to isolate Velocity.
Isolate the fight. I won't be able to get much from it though. Clobbering time coming up. Gonna try and see if they can isolate Velocity. Not gonna be able to catch it though. Impunity back with the Seer. Chokeslam into it. Skittles. It's Jab is online. Are they gonna be able to catch them? Take their team through it. Ooh, they do. They've caught him. They've caught Amazing there. And look to fall back onto this one.
And with Fidel here too in the Soul Resurgence, they bring everybody together, but ChopperMag, they're down in numbers, and Darkzero, they're keeping the stall going. All eyes on Kurova if he has that passive, as he's got the board again, the Karmic Revival, and Bobo, he sends it forward, the Chief of Town Hall now instead, just trying to give in the brawl, bring the fight over to the back line instead. He's found Kurova, and he doesn't have the passive. They tracked him, so that means he will not have the Karmic Revival. Eye of what? Zenz, he uses it first as Amazing. He gets caught off, and the Eye of Agamotto at the hands of Zenz finds 3.
Huge stuff coming through from ChopperMag there. At long last, they blast through Darkzero, and the mission vehicle stays online. Herbie is reloaded, and we push on for another stretch here. Amazing stuff coming out.
Dude, that interruption onto Amazing's Eye of Agamotto, the fact that they found Kurova, that was 2 win conditions that Darkzero needed to lean into, off the table. ChopperMag, they stopped them, and now they have some space to work with here, while Zenz, we're seeing some swap ups. It's the Angela for the disruption.
We're here to help.
Ooh, I like the changes coming out here, but I like to see the Devil coming out, and Smash bringing out the Psylocke as well. Definitely can find a lot of impact through from all these versatile changes. Bethic's one in the same though. They're matching that energy, and Bobo's on that Psylocke. Uh-oh, here we go.
Daredevil being Daredevil though, forcing him back as Pethic gets some safety, and Monero with Sonic Seduction gets cut off. It is that story with the shish shish kebab off the Angela. And now Amazing is trying to build in to that Devil's ultimate now as Duop has the Freedom Charge, bringing everybody forward. But look at Smash. If it's not on the Jeff, it's on the Psylocke instead. But they lose out onto, and Amazing does have that ultimate. May want to hold on to it as Impunity dives down. ChopperMag, they've lost out on Skittles and Fidel originally here. No strategist, no retaliation in finding that foundation. And they still have a minute and less than 10 seconds on the clock.
They have caught some trades back though into that fight. Still staying on top of the mission vehicle here. Ooh, Impunity goes down just as they bring out the Feast of the Abyss there. That is disappointing for Darkzero. Now having no ults online compared to a full arsenal. Basically for ChopperMag here. The boundary is going to be critical from Kurova into this one, and already Heaven's Retribution coming right around the back. The strategists are in deep trouble here. They need to run it back, and they've already forced the boundary.
They had to use it there too. They have to stay alive because if they get staggered here, it's even worse. They'll get the next checkpoint. Kurova though, they get the pick off of Peptic, but Bobo, having the dance of the Cutterfly, is able to control this poke here and this choke. They find Smash next, and it's that Psylocke 1v1, but a nice little backcap attempt from Impunity will fail, as now ChopperMag have all the space to get this next checkpoint.
At long last, the harder work pays off, and they're on for another stretch towards the next capture point here. Both teams a clean slate, no ults. Will they be able to throw the jabs, throw the haymakers into this one to single them out for more impact? It's all going to come down to these critical little moments. Duep always scouting ahead for their team, trying to see if they can catch someone off guard, but it could be one way or the other. But now we slow to almost a whisper. Velocity being targeted, but it's not going to happen just yet.
Trying to creep here over to the side, and it's going to build into Skittles and that invisible boundary. The strategist ultimate online first in favor for ChopperMag, while Bobo just keeps getting the damage done, building into another Dance of the Butterfly. Peptic jumps up, the Devil v Devil fight here too. They try to unleash it as Zenstar is going to be able to find Madara. Once again, the interruption between the double Angela and ChopperMag are trying to clear the space around that next corner, forcing them back. Zen, another pickup, this time onto Smash. I love the follow-ups that we are seeing within ChopperMag.
Huge stuff coming through from them there. They single out, wipe out Darkzero here. It could all come down to one last fight into this one as Herbie is going towards the final stretch here. It's going to come down to who pops first, who is going to be able to find such impactful KOs. And Starry already isolating them in spawn there, gaining a little bit more distance on the mission vehicle. But it's the Dance of the Butterfly right off the back here. Bobo has caught two. Looking to see if they can slice through more. Impunity, Beast of the Abyss comes out. They're doing everything to stay online here, but it's going to be enough, Vicky.
Oh no, and even with the Sia, Impunity gets taken out at the hands of Bobo. He's found 3, he's found 4 at the start of this fight as you let the Devil out at the hands of Amazing, trying to find everybody. Kurova with the invisible boundary. It's going to be a Venn diagram together with that and Skittles, but Bobo is not getting stuck. He is looking to get this payload to the finish line. He gets another Dance of the Butterflies, but it's actually on the other side of Smash. He tries to get the follow-up with Impunity, finding Peptic. They have some time to breathe. Overtime ticking away, and ChopperMag, they have not gotten into the finish line, but it is the stall that allows Zenz to come back and be the insurance policy for Bobo.
Insurance policy online, but the Dance of the Cutterfly is online once again. Velocity down and more to follow. Bobo tearing their way through there. Darkzero, don't let up, but ChopperMag push it through the gates.
Not a single second left on that timer. Smiles and laughs all around ChopperMag. Bobo getting enabled. He cleared out Darkzero. He did not fall in that last fight, despite even being at the number disadvantage. Together with Zenz, they had the support as well too. They hold back Darkzero. They were scattered, looking like they were struggling to find what the answer was to stay alive at the onslaught of damage between the Angela and the Psylocke.
It was just a jab for jab for jab there, desperately trying their best to focus on their answers. Just look at the face of that player, Bobo, just locked in on these fights right here. No emotion, fearless into that fight.
the clutchness, the dance of the butterflies, and the sustainability from Skittles and that Invisible Woman. That's what it was. Those three members of ChopperMag keeping that overtime alive in ChopperMag's favor as they made the push with that payload. Now we get to see the swap up with ChopperMag sitting on the defense.
Yeah, nice change up of the heroes here, and curious to see what kind of composition Darkzero is looking to lock down here.
What?
I don't know if, I don't know what they're going to bring into this one, but it looks like they are changing it up. And now, let's get ready.
Dude, Zen's 44-1. I'm rubbing my eyes right now. That here in the Marvel Rivals Ignite Grand Finals playoffs, day one, Zenz is farming this damage on this Angela. Trying to match that versus Mara. Zenz says, you are not him if you want to take me out in the skies.
And they will take their enemies right back down to Earth and look to see if they can stick them back towards their spawn point here as the composition looks to change up for Darkzero again, bringing out the Punisher this time, playing into the Wolverine. And they're going to be playing into the fastball special here with the Hulk coming out. You don't see that one every day.
Wait, what season is this? What season are we on? Because right now, Hulk, I don't think we've even seen Hulk at all, but with the fastball special, trying to get up on the high ground, trying to get something done. They've recognized that Zenz is a problem, and with Bobo also taking to the skies, they have to find the isolation, maybe a kidnap here, as he tries to get the grab, but unfortunately misses out on getting that follow-up. A nice freeze too onto Fidel, but they try to send up to the high ground. They're trying to stop Zenstari.
You can tell when they're going for things like this, they're desperate to find an answer here. If they can just land that critical little catch there, it could be everything to break the defensive line, but they just haven't been able to find that fine line angle just yet.
Don't worry, here Kitty Kitty as he dives down and he tries to find the kidnap and he finds it. Undo it, but Bobo right there on the back line, uncontested, unprotected, is right amazing, is Korova, and it is ChopperMag mopping the floor against Darkzero.
My goodness. Oh no, indeed, they have been able to shut down more and more of Darkzero's power here. They do have at least the Fate of Both Worlds online, and the Boundary as well, should it be required. And they are looking to see if they can acquire another answer, another way through here as ChopperMag maintain a course onto the triple-triple.
Is this the end for Darkzero and their tournament run with this final judgment? You see the bubble protecting Bobo. Pathic looking up, but a nice protect thanks to the hands of Impunity being on that Hulk. They shut down Pathic as he comes up. No Meteor M to help him out. And it is ChopperMag backing away. They're giving the space right now, but it looks like the Wolverine is at least able to get the kidnaps and follow-ups, but the Angela is still a problem as Zenz is able to get away.
Big timing on the shield there, does not enable Pathic to answer. Soul Resurgence coming out now. Training Strategist ults into this one. And looking to see if Smash can catch it. Sorry, not gonna happen. Madara bringing out the Psionic Seduction. It's time for the Rage of Ultron in to the Heaven's Retribution here. Boundary gonna be coming up as well. They're trying to catch something through this one, but no one is going down yet. But the last dead. But big timing. Zenstari's out of here. Freedom Charge keeping them on for a little longer. And they found Velocity.
The final stand dive down to get the triple stun with Fidel. Gonna be able to help them out though. While they were fixated at enabling Smash, guess what? Fidel just has his way here, and we may see some swap ups because now they are down to less than a minute on the clock to get to that first checkpoint.
Oh, and they're bringing out the Iron Man here. They're trying everything they can into this one. Nothing they try is working, so they're just going for the niche picks here. Iron Man is transcending the seasons, and they've caught Zenstari.
Tony, I don't feel so good here. Smash is able to find the double onto the Vanguards. Now make it 3. Triple Vanguard's gone here. And with less than 30 seconds on the clock, they need all the space, they need all the stall for them to benefit. Skittles with the itch chef though, as Impunity is going to be able to go berserk, get the reset, and jump right back over to this payload. They need to try to get it to the first checkpoint, but it gets recontested thanks to the portal from Zen.
Nicely done to stall them out. Herbie going to be coming to a hold. Impunity down as well. This is a major pick onto the Vanguard there. Trying their best to beat up the front line here. The OT timer still runs through. Smash in deep trouble. The Rage of Ultron right around the back. Velocity desperately staying online, but they find double strategist. Invincible Pulse Cannon does nothing here. ChopperMag are ripping them to shreds.
They tip the hat at Darkzero. They try to end their run, and with a number advantage and a Meteor M point blank at their spawn room gates, Darkzero desperately crawling, trying to stay alive, but ChopperMag They're looking at that prize pool, and they're looking to stay in the tournament.
They have done it! ChopperMag will be sending Darkzero home! Amazing stuff coming through from the team from down under. Smiles all around. Coach J-Mac gonna be supporting the team through and through in every endeavor there. You can see the hard work paid off, and the revenge is oh so sweet.
Let them bask in it. And again, as you mentioned, special shout out to Coach J-Mac, putting this team together, even with the exit of Salvation not being able to be here due to travel issues. It's Fidel slotting in amazingly with this team here, Matsy, and they did it. If you look at the score, Bobo went 58-3, 25 final hits with almost 50,000 damage off of a full hold after their progress on the attack. I mean, I had to double take this because this is insane numbers when it's not like the overtime was going in for both rounds.
Just absolutely insane how higgledy-piggledy things have got there, and just a solid work coming through all round, and you can see good sportsmanship coming out from both sides there. GG's all round. What an incredible series, and it went as far as it could.
And it's the revenge that ChopperMag get versus Darkzero. Let's not forget, they lost 2-1 versus Darkzero in the group stages. We have to reiterate, because this further highlights how our teams have been growing every single day within the Marvel Rivals Ignite Grand Finals.
Just absolute insane work coming through. Congratulations to ChopperMag for continuing their endeavors. And let's hear all about it, breaking it down with the desk.
It's the desk, and the desk. What an incredible series, and we are one less American team down, and I can't help but notice that American Man isn't here.
I mean, he's on vacation. He must be, you know, in Cancun or something like that with the rest of the American teams. But
he's on the Beltline in Atlanta, enjoying the Halloween spectacle, which is 2 American teams out of the 4 already being eliminated at DreamHack.
No. They'll come back in the second half next year. You know, soon. 2026 soon.
All right, well, let's just jump into it. Dog, what went wrong?
Yeah, a few things. I mean, this team right now has seemed to kind of, you know, have a slower, I mean, they had a fast start, right? That's kind of the thing. This team was on the come up and on the up and up, but it seemed like for ChopperMag, they sort of were on the opposite side where they had a slower start in the group stages, you know, losing to Darkzero. Now coming back, a statement win, 3-0 with their star player and Bobo. We talk about their vanguards. I think Zensari doesn't get a lot of love necessarily, but it's like you mentioned, the whole team came together, and ChopperMag well coached and also played to an incredibly high level.
It really did feel as well like the stats for Bobo speak for themselves, but you have to bear in mind that like his full defensive side was just on Ultron. He made Ultron look like 3.5 like a couple of patches ago, Ultron, and he's been nerfed since, but it's also the fact that DZ were very close to full hold in ChopperMag right at the start, but it was just those long overtime fights. As soon as a little bit starts to snowball, ChopperMag could just boulder across you, and Bo was getting multi-picks after multi-picks with 2 like back-to-back Dance of the Butterflies right at the end of their attacking side. It was a crazy performance from him.
This match in general was absolutely crazy. Again, the score doesn't really do it justice, while ChopperMag were able to take the majority of the map and even a majority of the points on domination. It was still close. Darkzero took them all the way to overtime basically every time.
I mean, this team is really good. Like Darkzero, there's a reason they're here, right? As that 4 seed from North America coming over and also doing well in the group stages, right? That was incredible out of them to take down ChopperMag. But then you go back and through and find domination. You talked about it, Tetcher. You talked about Ryan. I mean, they weren't the best team at domination, and that showed on map number 1.
It just feels like there's kind of like more chaotic fights. And I think for Central Park, again, it was like Darkzero were able to beat them. Yeah, it just seems to be that like in that position where frankly, people's jobs are on the line in the case of Darkzero, right? Because it's the end of a year, it's the end of a 10-year, end of Ignite for them for 2025. Look how close it is to actually going in the direction of Darkzero in these fights. But the fact that you've got ChopperMag playing stuff like Phoenix, which a lot of teams have moved away from, the Ultron, as I mentioned, on Midtown, they're just, if I'm comfortable on it and my team trusts me, I'm going to play that character and we'll make it work.
And that overtime, we saw Darkzero adjusting. They really did try everything. They threw everything at the wall, literally just swapping over to fast rollout characters 2 times in this series, Dogman. We saw the Iron Man.
Yeah, I know. That was something that I've actually talked to Ryan behind the scenes about. Ryan Mazing, you were like, I was asking him, I hope it's not my fault, because Ryan was like, I said, why aren't you guys playing Iron Man? You know, you've done that before. You've done, even though he's been nerfed and, you know, there's been a lot of changes. Also, Ultron's not as good. You haven't played much Iron Man. I would have liked to see it alongside Smash on Ultron, maybe some other heroes to help support it, because that solo 2-2 Iron Man was just not the play. And at the end, like you mentioned with Bobo, he was putting on an absolute master class.
Just felt so comfortable for him. And just when it's in those moments where you can almost just sort of stick their nose in it, you got people going for the portal on the other side to try and block them with the Magneto. It's like, it's so stressful for Darkzero to be here and be in this position. But ChopperMag, I think just every step of the way, they're vibing. Like, they want to get paid. They're getting higher part of the $1 million prize pool that's at this event by finishing at least top 6.
And before we move over to the interview, we will have to break down what's going to be coming up tomorrow and the end of day. But first, final thoughts on this game, starting with you, Ryan.
Absolute cinema. I cannot wait to see more. I can't see more ChopperMag.
I can't either. I mean, same thing. Final thoughts are that ChopperMag is here to stay, and I would hope they do get picked up by an organization and Bobo gets that sweet, sweet dough.
I would love that. They absolutely deserve it. They're continuing once again. Ground Zero at mid-season. They also had an incredible run, and they're just continuing to do so again with this new roster. But that is it for today's games. Let's have a look at the results so we can go over everything that happened, all the action that went down. We have unfortunately had to say goodbye to 2 of our teams already. You can see here in our matchups, Virtus.pro started off the day very strong, but 100 Thieves, they have been able to not only take that one map off of Virtus.pro, but they are still in it, eliminating Reject in that final game, the penultimate game of the day.
Yeah, I mean, they looked like they were in high spirits, right? For a good reason. We know how good Virtus.pro is. That was an incredibly fun matchup. Then moving on forward, like you mentioned, Navi looking as good as ever. And then for Reject, it's very unfortunate because they had some tough matchups. We know how good Navi is. We've seen how good 100 Thieves looked versus VP, so really tough situation for them. And then, yes, when we take a look back at the bracket, this entire tournament, Tetcher, has been phenomenal so far. It's been cinema, as Ryan said earlier.
It really has been. We're looking at those brackets here, and this is an insane matchup. If you look at that upper bracket semi-finals, Ryan, that is just going to have any team shaking in their boots.
Oh, VP Navi. Oh, just going back to, like, trust me, talking about the draft and stuff, like the rematch there is going to be nice. But the fact that the loser of that game goes up and plays ChopperMag later on that day is ridiculous. Like, that just in itself is, I don't know how that's going to go. And then FlyQuest versus Citadel, sort of a rematch. I think FlyQuest kind of dealt with Citadel quite easily in the group stages. Whoever loses that is going to go up against 100 Thieves. So it is like a Group B rematch, which, speaking of which, 2 teams eliminated, Group A is.
Very true.
It makes sense. I mean, that's the thing. When we take a look at tomorrow as well, like VP Navi, the rematch like you mentioned, and then also FlyQuest and Citadel, because like you guys said, Group B was so good looking back at it, and we knew that going into it. It definitely seems to be the result as well.
Pretty much. I think it's the upper bracket final tomorrow as well as a best of five to sort of finish off. So I think the advantage of just like, if you win tomorrow's final game, you don't need to play for the gauntlet, you get through to the best of 7. I think off the top of my head, but it is one of those elements of just like, we get to see it quickly sort of finish out this weekend, right? We've got Saturday and Sunday to crown the top dog from Ignite, like the first proper like main event that we've got here for Marvel Rivals this year.
So let's have our final thoughts for the day, not just for the match we just had, but for everything we just saw. Let's start off with you, Ryan. What do you have to say about just everything we saw today?
Iron Fist, more of that, please. I think it's the best way to introduce the game to so many people that are coming through DreamHack is just, hey, watch these guys hold W and just smash the ever-living daylights out of each other. Welcome to Marvel Rivals.
I don't think I have a better response than that. Yeah, I mean, all my friends that can't aim, they play this game for the first time, like, oh, I love this Iron Fist character. He's a ton of fun. It's like you said, I mean, you just go in, you run it down. Now, Daredevil, completely different story. I mean, you got to be, perfectly comboing, using all your buttons at the same time. It takes a little bit more effort. But final thoughts on the day, Tetcher. We had a phenomenal day here in day number 1, and I'm just looking forward to this weekend because, I mean, we started off with an incredibly fun game, and then we get to see ChopperMag, the Cinderella story, start to blossom into something maybe even greater.
I hope we continue to see that. We have so many good teams, and we are really preparing for what is going to be a fantastic day of games tomorrow. But I also believe we're about to be heading over to the main stage so that we can have our interview with the winners of that last match. So, Cozy, take it away over there with ChopperMag.
Hello and welcome to the final interview of day one, and y'all said it best. It's the Cinderella story, the best story of this tournament so far, and a star in the making. And Bobo, I got to see you in the mid-season finals and interview you when you were with Navi Esports. How does it feel now going to ChopperMag, and how did that happen?
从 Nova 到这里，然后到这里，你有什么感觉吗？当我刚when I lose the mid-season finals, my teammate Gong leave, and Noah leave, and I don't have team. And ChopperMag, my teammate, now they ask me, what do you want to join us? I say, I got to join you because you are a good team, you have patience, and you are young. I am old. Yesterday is my birthday. I have 26, and nobody know me before this game. I have a job, and nobody know who I am. I got it. And when I come ChopperMag, we looking for club. Someone supports us, and they say OC team is bad. We don't want you, and we want to screen with American team and European team. They refuse. Only CTG, Navi, like they say OC team is bad. Screen review is waste of time like this. Now, everybody know us. We are ChopperMag. That is the best thing I've heard all day, and I can guarantee you the name Bobo, my friend, is well known across the Rivals community now, and absolutely the OCE team is no longer a Cinderella story, but a bracket breaker here to go the distance at the helm of the new star in Bobo. Now, obviously, when you win, I see you point to the chest in ChopperMag. Do you have an org that you want to sign you? Now's your chance to tell the world. That's a good idea. So an org out there, if you're listening, sign this, man, sign this org. Finally, again, not a Cinderella story. How far can this team go? Can you guys take it all the way and be the biggest upset that we've seen in Rivals history? We come here just for champion. They have come here just to be champions, and what a beautiful way to wrap up day one, my friends. Tonight, the fright ends for Halloween, and the fight continues in day two. I want to give a big thank you to Atlanta, Georgia DreamHack for an awesome day one, the viewers and all, and I appreciate you so much for coming on here. Love the story. Can't wait to continue to cheer on for you. Once again, thank you so much for watching, y'all. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Welcome to DreamHack Atlanta!
We'll see Millennium Dreedrone now with a huge hit. Jeff is gonna fight for VP. Take map one. 100 Thieves are playing lights out on this retake. Looking for Harvey. Millennia is gonna fall here with some good play. 2